Oh, we are back.
Pick that up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome back, everybody, to ROC Movie Reviews. And as promised in our Meg review, Marco and I are talking about the Sharknado franchise. Mainly the first one, because you haven't actually seen all six. I've seen all six.
No, I've only seen three. 1, 2, and 3.
That's half. I mean...
Yeah, it works for me.
They're kind of like that. They're good, the next one sucks, and the good, and the next one's not very good. And it's kind of like inconsistent. But they're all ridiculous and fun. And today we're here to talk about the franchise. And the first one for the most part, but we will touch on the Sharknado franchise. Right. So, let's start the review on the Sharknado franchise.
It's a storm. That's what's driven them all up north.
I've never seen so many of them nor so bold.
It's barely even raining.
It's flooding here. And not the plumbing, the ocean.
You need to go home.
I'm not going anywhere.
Storm's coming and it's coming fast. Just can't sit back and watch this.
Tornado's heading towards the airport. We need to destroy it before it gets to them. Watch out!
You can't just wait here and wait for sharks to rain down on us.
We're gonna throw bombs into the tornadoes.
It's too dangerous. Too many of them. We're gonna need a bigger chopper.
Claudia, move!
It's time to leave Kansas, mate.
See, I do it with one hand this time.
Yeah, that was much better. Alright, so, the first Sharknado came out in 2013. I wasn't originally into
Sci-Fi?
it. Yeah, on Sci-Fi. Yeah, this is actually one of Sci-Fi's biggest franchises. I mean, it's over now, but this was like a staple for Sci-Fi for 6 years during the summertime, you know? Whether it premiered in July or it premiered in August. And I actually looked forward to it. I think I came in around the second or the third movie. I believe I came in around the second. And then I went back to watch the other ones. All 6, I believe, are on Netflix, so that's also a place. If you don't want to, be like me and get every DVD.
Right.
But this franchise is fun. It's ridiculous. It's Sharks in a Tornado. We're pretty much saying everything that you've already heard.
In commercials or anything that your friends have described, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the titles of these movies, they know what they are, and they don't try to be anything more than that. So
right, they'll try to be they do try to be over the top, but
yeah.
not like in a very serious way.
No, definitely not. I mean, you're in a Sharknado film. Sharknado, I know Sci-Fi has a bunch of other creature feature collab movies, but this was definitely one of the bigger ones for them because you don't see the other franchises getting multiple movies, right?
Yeah.
And these movies, actually made quite a bit of, the viewership was really good on these movies. And why else would they keep making them? Because Sci-Fi's not really hurting for cash, I don't think.
Not nowadays.
No, not nowadays. No, they're pretty big. So the first Sharknado came out in 2013. I didn't see it then. I saw it later in 2014 after seeing the second because I watched them kind of out of order. But the first one's definitely the least crazy because if you see where the franchise goes, it's just throw everything in the kitchen sink. just do it all.
Right.
So the first one actually looks pretty simple, small, and minuscule compared to the sequels that are these massive, ridiculous extravaganzas of stupid.
Putting it lightly.
Yeah. No, the first one feels grounded compared to all the others. And, the first one is definitely not my favorite. I do like them leaning into the more stupid elements later on in the years. I do enjoy the first one quite a bit. It's still probably one of my top 3 out of the 6 films, I would say. I'd have to think about that. But this film, I think we already said the plot and the story. It's just sharks in a tornado.
The name pretty much gives it away.
Yeah, and the only difference is that the locations change in the sequel. So this one takes place in Los Angeles, and second one New York, third one Orlando, Florida, and also Washington D.C. Fourth one takes place in Las Vegas, and I believe somewhere in Ohio. And the fifth one is literally a globe-trotting adventure where they hit all sorts of places. Rio de Janeiro's in there. London's in there. London's a big one. And then, of course, the sixth one. The sixth one is just like locations through time travel. It's hard to even talk about the locations in 6 because it's just like, oh, we're jumping back here, and oh, we're going to a new place, and oh, Egypt's also in the 5th one at the end.
Right.
Because Egypt, pyramids, why not?
Yeah.
I feel weird just saying that, but it is. We are talking about a Sharknado movie here, so it can't be too serious. Anyway, so this franchise, so to speak, I'm going to talk about the regulars. Ian Ziering, however you want to say his name. He plays Finn. He's our main guy. He's a surfer turned bartender who ends up having to essentially save his family from the Sharknadoes throughout all the films. It starts with the first one. His ex-wife, April, played by Tara Reid. It's not the best actress, but in that context, I think they do a good job together. He's certainly a better actor than she is.
Right.
Yeah. And the girl who actually played their daughter, I don't remember her name, but her actress changed throughout the years. Like, it was a certain actress in the first film, and then it was a different actress in, like, say, the next couple. And then she just dropped off until the very end. It was like, oh, you're not even in the 5th movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cassie Scarborough might actually be my favorite character from the franchise. She plays Nova. She's pretty badass. She showed up in the first one, third one, and the 5th and the 6th one. So she only sat out the 2nd and the 4th. And it's funny that I mentioned that because in the 4th, it was a different girl who was supposed to be, I believe, Finn's cousin, and that was played by Maciela Lusha, and I actually thought she did a really good job filling in for Cassie Scarborough. She might actually be my favorite character. I'd have to think on it.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, so this film's fun. The performances, they're not great, but they don't have to be when you're in a sci-fi movie called Sharknado.
I mean, I guess you could say that sort of gives it part of the charm. Would be the fact that not only is the plot ridiculous, but the acting isn't the best. Yeah,
that's true. And plot, story, characters isn't exactly what you go for with these movies. Like, the characters, as long as they're like fairly cookie cut and they're not that complex, then people are fairly happy. Anthony C. Ferrante, directed all 6 films. It's cool when a director comes back to do an entire franchise, and clearly because he started it, I'm glad he stuck with it. I believe they changed writers towards the end, but they still kept the charm and the absolute idiotic nature of the whole Sharknado vibe.
Right.
Tone, I guess you could say. So he directed all of them. Thunder Levin and Scotty Mullen were the writers on throughout the series. They would kind of flip-flop. They'd like alternate. Like, I'll take this one, you take the next one. And the first film in particular is shot by Ben Damari. They're not bad-looking films. They're certainly not great, but they have that campy, cheesy, like fairly cheapness looking to them. You know what I mean? Like cheap look to them.
Right.
Because they look like sci-fi movies, and the effects are not good. You can tell that the sharks are completely visual effect driven. That's it. But again, if you're willing to accept that, you're going to enjoy the film. If you're not willing to accept that, then you might as well stop watching in general.
Right.
Because the effects, I won't say they get better. They don't get worse, but they maintain the quality. And if that quality you think is like utter crap, then get out of here.
I mean, since it's not like all made in 1 year, and essentially since they use the same kind of style for the sharks throughout the whole franchise, I assume that because I haven't seen 4 through 6, so I'm not entirely sure.
They do. I would say they do. Yeah.
But yeah, back to my point. Since they do, then I guess you could say over the course of the years it does get a little more dated because it's just the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I would say the first one definitely looks dated compared to the 6th one, but the only difference is like the cinematography and the shot selection looks a little more crisp in the sequels compared to the original. The original kind of has that charm of like it looks cheap and is looking cheaper as the years go by, but maybe that's the cult classic feel to it.
Right.
And the sequels don't really have that. I don't know. I mean, they're all shot the same. I think they're all shot by the same person. And if not, then they got somebody else. But these aren't really films that help a cinematographer showcase their work. If the cinematographer can do a really good job, these aren't the films to really showcase that. Like, pick a big budget movie, not a sci-fi original movie.
Right.
And the music, It's your typical generic score for all these films. Like, it's like bombastic and ridiculous and very intense, but there isn't very much going on. There's not many different instrumental qualities to it. Mm-hmm. And Ramin Kosha, he scored all these films, and again, similar to cinematography, the score is really just, it's kind of recycled, actually, honestly. There's that Sharknado theme where it's like, run away from a Sharknado. That's fun. Yeah. But that's by a different person. The score itself, forgettable, generic. It serves its purpose, but it doesn't do much else.
Kind of like most shark movies.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about the Meg, and we said that Harry Gregson Williams' score didn't really make that much of an impact either.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, so, but, again, doesn't really need to. So this franchise is ridiculous. I will still go back and watch all 6 movies because they're just fun. Like, you can put these movies on, get a bunch of friends together, get some drinks, and have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the best way to describe when and where to watch these movies. I would give the first Sharknado movie, like, as a quality, like, it's not the best movie, absolutely not. But if I'm going to score the first Sharknado compared to all the sequels, it is the most grounded, it is the most simple, and it doesn't take its plot too seriously. And it also doesn't go over the top like the sequels do, so it kind of maintains that level of like, oh, this is fairly small scale, but it's sharks in a tornado.
Right.
So I'm going to give the first Sharknado, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's an average film. I'm probably being generous here. What are you going to score it?
Well, I would say, since the sequels, I would say took a little bit more risks with not only doing different locations, but doing like more absurd stuff than the first one. Yeah. But then again, I would have to give it a little bit of leeway because, again, it's the first movie. Right. So I would probably lean more towards a 6, but 6? I wouldn't say it's that much above a 5, but yeah.
A 5 is generous because if we're just going off of entertainment value, it'd be a 5 for me, but quality-wise for a movie, it's probably closer to like a 2 or a 3. Maybe a 4, but again, like, I'm being generous because it's the first movie. All the sequels, quality-wise, they're probably more like 2s. Right. Because it's like, if there's this demographic that likes this stuff, and I think we're including that demographic, then there's the demographic of like, why do these movies exist? Mm-hmm. So
I feel like all the movies would just be just you shaking your head like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
If you can't take a joke, don't watch these movies. But if you can, and you actually like ridiculous, stupid, sheer insanity.
Like if you're going in with like no expectations.
Dude, that's the perfect way to go into these movies, with no expectations. Yeah. Yeah, so a generous 5 from me. A 6? Almost a 6 from you?
I would say.
The 6, yeah. Okay. Alright.
I'll say 6, on that one.
I will definitely watch this franchise again. If you guys have seen it, let us know in the comments like what you thought. If you have even bothered watching, I know there's some people that are like, nope, I'm good. I hear you first data.
All right, no. Yeah, just completely avoid it. Like, yeah. No.
I think that's gonna do it. So that's our take on the first Sharknado and the franchise as a whole. It's just plain dumb. And if you know you like these kind of films, seek them out. And if not, then
don't.
Have a good day. Otherwise, we will see you guys in the next Rock Movie Reviews episode, where I believe Jake and I will be reviewing either the Star Wars spin-offs or the current DCEU films. So we'll see which one comes first. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.